There we go. Right.
Amazing.
Joe, welcome. Thanks for agreeing to do this. We're just trying to do a few bits and pieces, obviously, as you know, just to help keep the fans still engaged and, just find out what's going on, really. So how are you finding lockdown, first of all?
Not bad, mate, to be honest. Bad, probably third week in, I struggled a little bit. Once all the sort of novelty of not being at work, it's like having a couple of weeks off work, wasn't it? Holiday initially.
Yeah.
But then to have everything sort of pulled from you, work, football, the gym, sort of your whole routine. I wouldn't say I struggled, but, took a little bit of time to get my head around it. But other than that, try to keep myself busy as best as I can in the house. The house has never been so clean. Garden's pristine.
Oh, no.
A lawn like Wembley. So if Jacko needs any help at Garden Walk, give me a shout.
I have not got a lawn that looks like Wembley. My son has battered it, absolutely battered it out there playing. Oh dear, yeah.
So other than that, just trying to keep busy, really, to be honest. Still a bit unclear on when I'm going back to work. So I suppose we'll find out more this week. Yeah,
so because you can't really work from home, can you?
I can't do anything. No, can't do anything from home. So,
cool. Well, rather than just sort of like go through all the kind of highlights of the season and stuff like that, I thought I'd rip off Soccer AM again and just ask you a few of your firsts. I have got a few questions at the end though, so if we've got time, we'll throw those in as well. So let's get going. Hold on, I'm just trying to find a thing. First ball. Do you remember the first football you ever had as a kid?
Going back a few years. I can't remember the first football that I had, but I can remember the first ball I bought.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Nike Chrome ball from the advert?
Yeah.
I can't remember what advert it was, but I remember buying that.
That was the one with them in the cage, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I can't remember what year it was. Obviously I was fairly young, but I remember buying that and taking it everywhere with me, like even to the extent of to bed sort of thing. I remember buying that out of my own money, but first ball, who knows? Could have been anything, to be honest. But the old Chrome ball was quite a cool one to buy at that age. Never played with it though. Didn't want to ruin it.
No.
Just used to carry it around everywhere.
Yeah,
exactly. Used to carry it around everywhere. Used to think a little nuts with that ball. But
go for a bit of money now if you still got it.
No chance. No chance. No, that's long gone.
All right. What about your first kit as a kid?
First kit I do remember I had. Do you remember the old blue and white striped Man United kit?
Oh, the away one with Sharp.
The away one. Yeah, I had that. And I had the grey one. You remember the famous grey one that they wore and changed?
Against Southampton, they couldn't be seen.
Against Southampton, couldn't see each other. too foggy. So I had them as kids. My first goalkeeper kit was the bright pink Schmeichel one.
Oof.
Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
And I insisted that I had Schmeichel written on the back. It cost my mum and dad a fortune with the letters in his name, but I insisted I had that scrawled across the back. So I had all the United kits as a kid.
Big United fan then as a kid? What about now?
As a kid, definitely. To be honest, I wouldn't really say I support anyone now, to be honest with you. I follow United, I follow Cardiff because of my dad. Right. Probably a bit more so since I went to the old Cardiff ground for Southend.
Ninian Park.
Ninian Park. I went there. That was amazing.
Wow.
Unbelievable experience.
Proper old ground.
Proper old fans, horrible fans, spit on you as you come through the tunnel.
Nice.
Chucking the coffee and beer at you. But
you still look out for their result?
Oh, always. Absolutely, yeah. No, Dad's a big Cardiff fan. Well, I say big Cardiff fan. Dad grew up as a Cardiff fan. So, I look for both. But I wouldn't say I support, to be honest with you, anyone. I'm not sort of affected either way, whether they lose or win. But those are the sort of two teams that I look out for. But as a kid, I was a big United fan. I remember sort of scrawling out all my United kits on the living room floor when I was watching the games and things like that. So, but my blue and white away United kit was my first one.
That was the halcyon era for Man United, wasn't it? Then
that was it.
Everything in sight.
Yeah, I think probably most kids grew up supporting them at that age, didn't they?
Yeah. I've put West Ham on my boy, so
Oh yeah.
he's got a life of disappointment ahead of him. Just like his old
Yeah.
man had. So.
Has he been to the new ground?
Yeah. He doesn't mind it because he doesn't know anything else.
He don't know different, no.
Yeah, but he loves coming up Royston though, as you know. So he loves that. So yeah. Anyway, right, next one. First boots. Remember them?
I do.
Sort of like branded boots, I reckon, or the ones that you remember.
I had. I still wear well, not the same boots, obviously, but I still wear them now. I had the first Predators with the, like the grip on the front that they got.
Really raised then, though, weren't they?
Really, like it was like having bricks, wasn't it, on the front?
Yeah, really heavy boots as well, weren't they?
Yeah, I had them as a kid. As pretty much my first boots. I was quite lucky, but then I soon went through the phase of, do you remember like the Diodora, the bright red and the bright orange and yellow ones? Yeah, I was desperate to get a pair of those bright ones, and I remember my dad said, "No, you can't have them." It was proper, old-fashioned. You've got to wear black boots, and I was desperate to get a pair of those bright orange ones or the yellow ones. But my first ones were those Preds. Don't get me wrong, didn't show any highlight on how I used to play or anything. Those were my first boots with the big raised sort of grips on the front. Yeah, but I still wear Preds now. I still try to keep them. I like them. They're a nice boot. So
yeah, a lot different to what they were though.
Oh, massively. Yeah. Used to get them wet in the old ones, didn't they? And they used to weigh your feet down. Couldn't lift your feet. Yeah,
and you say about the Preds and the coloured ones now, because who's the one for the coloured boots at the club? I know I've seen Brandon's had a pair of pink ones or something.
Yeah, I think you probably hit the nail on the head. I think Brandon, when you pulled them pink ones out, you got a few eye raisers in the changing room. Got to be a player to pull that sort of boot off, haven't you? Bright pink.
Yeah. I mean, that's not why Braffers wears black ones, though, is it?
Oh, 100%. No, Braffers just knows his place. He's from that era, isn't he, of blackout boots, isn't he?
Yeah. No,
kick and head it.
Yeah, I've tried to just get my boy black boots like for years, but no, I've had to give in now. He just got some new ones for his birthday, multicoloured Neymar ones. I'm like, dear idea.
It's the thing, isn't it? Just want what they see on the telly, don't they?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. What about gloves? First goalie.
First gloves. My first gloves were Adidas finger saves, but with no, the real old ones, the yellow and black stripes on the back.
Right.
They had no technology going to them whatsoever, so they were literally like catching, like with concrete slabs on your hands, so like you couldn't bend your fingers, literally. The spines in the back were so stiff, couldn't punch a ball, couldn't wrap your hands around it or anything like that. But I remember buying them and just going through them at the rate of knots. It cost my mum and dad a fortune, I think, about 30 quid, 40 quid a time at the time. Spines used to break and things like that, but like I say, you couldn't move your fingers. You're just like running around like this all game. Like you couldn't do anything with your hands.
You've never had any of the cotton ones with like the table tennis?
Man, Neil, I'm not that old, mate.
I know, I'm showing my age.
I'm a 40-year-old, but I'm not that old. I'm only 31.
Yeah, no.
You'll be asking if I played bare-handed next.
They're unbelievable, they were. I mean, I remember sort of
the old Sondicos with the little patches. Yeah, no, I do remember them.
Crazy.
I do remember them.
But no, those, aren't they? I mean, they're like massive, and they've all got different like things that you, as you say, what are they called that you put in the fingers? Like
the spines, aren't they?
Yeah. Take them out and put them in, and they're a lot bigger now. They come a lot further down, don't they?
Yeah, you can get all sorts, can't you? Like I think Harry's got a pair of the Nike ones that are like, I call them his marigolds. They're like, the gloves the gloves you do your washing up in, the yellow gloves. They're literally just like a one-piece glove. He seems to like them, but I'll stick to the old-fashioned, as plain as I possibly can.
How many do you get through in a season?
Well, not as many this year. We finished early. I try and change them about every 6 games, 5 or 6 games. after 6 games, if I've kept a clean sheet, I won't change him. So there was a point this year, I wore him for about 10 games, and I was desperate to change him. I was almost desperate to let it go in because they were terrible. I had no grip on them or anything, but I couldn't because we kept keeping clean sheets. So, but yeah, about every 6 games, I tend to get through about 8 or 10 pairs. So the guy that looks after me sends me 10 pairs at the beginning of the season, and they tend to last, to be fair.
Yeah. Cool. So you're fairly superstitious like that then?
No, you wouldn't believe it, mate. We haven't got long enough to sit here and let me tell you my superstitions. To be here all night.
Yeah, it's funny old thing, isn't it? Left boot on first, right boot, or whatever.
Yeah.
Last out, first out. Oh, unbelievable.
Literally, yeah. Anything that springs to mind after a win, that will do it again.
And you just keep it the same. Why not?
Yeah,
I think we've already answered this one. This is going to be first heroes. I think Schmeichel. I think you've told us that a couple of times already. Hell of a keeper.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Professionally, absolutely Schmeichel. Eh?
And his son's not bad either.
Oh, he's done unbelievable. And to live up to his, well, I'm sure he went through his whole childhood. You've only got that move because of your dad or because of the name or anything like that. But I think he's proved himself as one of the best in the league. But yeah, Schmeichel was my absolute hero. I did a question, didn't I, on Twitter about it. I loved his aggression. He was so unorthodox at the time as well, sort of making up his own sort of moves and shapes.
Yeah, he puts a lot of it down to handball, didn't he? He played a lot of handball as a kid.
Yeah.
So you see him when they're all really spread out.
Yeah. I just think what amazes me, though, is what his son does exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's like he's coached himself into his son, isn't he? Like he's a mirror of his dad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he was unbelievable. I think that there was that time when there were people was Schmeichel or Seaman, but I think Schmeichel, I wouldn't say he was yards ahead, but I think he was well up there without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
All right. What about a first team or club you played for?
First team was a team, I must have been about 6 or 7. A team called Birchwood Rangers, based in Hatfield. So I'm from Welling Garden, so Hatfield round the corner. I can't remember how I got into it. I think I knew a couple of people that used to play there. We used to play in this horrendous red and yellow striped, the old Pro Star, like the real nylon, that horrible kit. We used to train on this 5-a-side Astro, the concrete with just a little bit of matting on the top and then a shed load of sand. Yeah, you come off with burns on your knees, like you could see your bones, sort of thing. So I used to train on there. I think that was my first team. And then I moved on to St Albans from there. A few of us went from there to St Albans. And that's where really it started moving on, to be honest with you. But virtually was just to get involved, have a bit of fun.
Did you move on to any sort of academies or anything like that, or
so from St Albans, we had a really good team actually. A couple of players went pro. Ricky Miller, centre forward, was at Dover, bought up to Peterborough. Probably self-admit wasted his talent a little bit. I don't think he's playing at the moment. But from there, I got picked up by Arsenal.
All right.
And had a brief stint at Arsenal and ruptured all the ligaments in my ankle. And at that age, if you were injured, didn't really want to know, to be honest. So they
what sort of age was that then?
That was 13, I think.
That's a big injury for a 13-year-old to get over as well.
Yeah, it was in training. I remember going up for a cross. It was a cross behind me. I went up for a cross, and as I came down, just turned everything. And I think I was out for 4, 5, 6 months, really.
Wow.
They looked after me while I was injured, but as soon as I was back, I was in for a couple of sessions, and it was almost like, nah, thanks, but no thanks. You've been out of the fold for 6 months. And then I had to start again. And I went to Luton Town.
Right.
The coach from St Albans had a few contacts, got me in at Luton, 14 to 16. Didn't get my scholarship there, and then went to Southend. Did my scholar at Southend.
Oh, right. Roots Hall,
yeah.
Yeah, and that's I remember you telling we did that profile a couple of years ago. We were talking about Freddie Eastwood.
Oh yeah. What a character.
on his horse and trapping it down the A127.
Down the A127. You used to drive past him riding on his horse. Unreal. But what a player.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah, character. But as it goes to sort of natural finisher, you've got to be right up there with one of the best I've played with.
Right.
As a centre forward. But just an absolute lunatic. He's lived in his sight. Exercising his horse every other day down the A127. It was mad. Like this guy in Southend was quite high profile, and he's charging up and down the dual carriageway on his horse. But nutter. So,
and then after Southend, do you want to just carry on the journey?
After Southend, so obviously did my 2-year scholar at Southend, and if in truth the first year I had an absolute beast, I was terrible. I was making mistakes left, right, and centre. Wasn't training well. Second year, I came back and did a lot better. And I was fortunate enough to be involved in the first team. Never played, but sat on the bench for probably half of the championship season.
Wow.
So that was brilliant. I got to go to White Hart Lane in the FA Cup, in the Carling Cup, likes of Southampton, things like that. Like Gareth Bale was at Southampton at the time, so you used to see him in action, plays like that.
So what's that like? Are you sitting on the bench going, "Oh, come on, get injured"?
No, not at all. I was 17. I was hoping that he wouldn't. I was just well happy to be there because I think the win bonus was probably 200 times the amount I was on the week as a scholarship.
Right.
To be involved. But no, just to go to those places and to travel. The team was brilliant. Like the team we played, or the team we had, the squad we had was unbelievable. We had the likes of Sean Goat, Mark Gow went on to play in the Premiership. Simon Francis, who's at Bournemouth now. There was loads of players in that squad that went on to do better things. And just to go to those sort of grounds and be involved in that sort of atmosphere, like I say, I was 17, 18 was unbelievable.
And that's an achievement for a club like Southend to be in the Championship.
Oh yeah, they did unbelievable. I think it was Steve Tilson. So I went there the year they just got promoted into League One. So my first year as a scholar, they went straight up. So they did the double bounce, League Two to League One, and then League One to the Championship.
Right.
And they got relegated that season from the Championship, but it was just too much too soon, sort of thing.
Yeah, that is a big jump in 2 years, though, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but yeah, I loved it. Southend. I moved down there, lived in digs down there. Loved it. Got a fond place in my heart for Southend. That's another team always look out for their results. Absolutely.
And then after Southend?
So Southend let me go. Didn't give me a pro. And then it all got a bit messy. I remember agreeing to, I think it was Kings Lynn. I remember agreeing to go and be involved in Kings Lynn at the time. And they were away in somewhere like Weymouth. And the manager had already told me I wouldn't be playing, I'd be on the bench. And I was like, yeah, at the time, I was like, yeah, brilliant. Yeah, I just want to be involved. And then there was part, he was niggling away at me. Why am I going to Weymouth? I'm not playing. Like, I'm not even signed for this team. I rang him up about half an hour before he was due to meet, and he was furious, absolutely furious. So probably burnt the bridge there at the time. I think I went to Bishop Stortford after going around the houses of Hendon, Chesham, and doing a few games here and there. I sort of settled at Bishop Stortford. Didn't play for half a year, but then got in and played consistently and done all right out of that, to be honest. Pushed for playoffs in the Conference South, had a good trophy run, and then eventually ended up at Histon, and that was where I started playing proper sort of first team football consistently. And
that's got to be one of the hardest things, isn't it, as a keeper? You're saying there about like getting let go, because there's only like 1 or 2 slots. If you're a midfielder, you've probably got 4 or 5 across there, maybe in the back, or different positions. But you're a keeper. You're not going to be all of a sudden. Well, unless you're I don't know, someone like Chilavert, you're not going to be going up or Campos and going up and playing up front or on the left wing or anything. So
yeah, no,
got your one position. So
no, absolutely, yeah. And I think at that age as well, I think it's probably why a lot of keepers that age bounce around a lot of different clubs, because as a young keeper you don't get played, and a lot of people want experience in that position.
Yeah,
I think up until sort of 24, I was bouncing around a little bit. here and there before I sort of settled to play week in, week out, you know, every week to play and to gain experience. So did a bit at Stalford, and then I went to Histon, a couple of years there. First year there, I didn't play at all because Danny Naisbitt was there. Then the money got all pulled, so I actually got an opportunity off of a bit of a bad situation, played some games there, and then sort of bounced out of there. So up until 21, I was a bit here, there, and everywhere. It's just like I say, people want experience in that position, which is completely understandable. But to get experience, you've got to play, right?
Yeah, but also I guess when you're sort of like younger as well, there's you know, a lot of lads aren't fully grown, fully developed at that point. You know, still filling out, and especially at some of those games, you know, it can be pretty physical. You've got to be able to stand your ground and be able to, you know, command your area, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, going into Stalford, that was my first taste of men's football outside of sort of professional reserves. And I was playing reserves at like 16. I was way too young to be playing reserves at Southend, but there always seemed to be an injury above me. So I was always chucked in the resis, but at 16, I was way too young. So I was getting beaten up, battered left, right and centre. And that probably didn't help me in the long run of my time at Southend, because it's coming out of reserve games like on the floor. I was just too young to be involved, you know. But then going to Stalford, that was my first real taste. And yeah, it took a while to get used to it. You know, I'm not the biggest now, like, you know, built, but at the time I was just as thin as a rake. And everyone used to say I need to put weight on, but it's one of those people, Neil, that can't put weight on. I'm waiting for my old age to catch up.
Yeah, that'll happen. Don't worry.
You know what I mean? So, but yeah, physicality wise, it took a while, but I think I went to the most physical team you possibly could with Histon. So I was looked after, you know, with everyone else around me at the time.
Yeah. So that would have been after their FA Cup exploits, wouldn't it? Because
Histon.
Yeah.
No, I was there. That was my first year.
The first year. All right. Okay.
Yeah, Histon.
Yeah.
The year we done Leeds in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Got knocked out to Swansea.
You know Gareth Baldwin then?
Yes. Yeah, he was there when I was there. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then it all went pop for whatever reasons, whether you believe what came out or not. But I mean, what a team we had there! Like, near enough every player of that squad went on to play in the league. Friday.
Yeah.
To be training twice a week and do what they did was unbelievable. Yeah,
and for really, you know, a tiny club.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially fan base wise, you've got the likes of Cambridge, Stevenage. You can still jump on a train to Arsenal, Tottenham, Peterborough. Like, to attract fans, it was near impossible.
I mean, for years they were the third biggest club in Cambridge, behind United and City. You know, and at one point they were a long way behind.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, my debut for them was Boxing Day. I think Nezzy threw in a holiday injury. Boxing Day away at Cambridge United, and I think there was 9,500 there.
Wow.
And for Histon to be playing in front of sort of 9,500 was like unheard of. And then the reverse fixture at our place was a sellout. I remember them having to lock the doors, and people were watching on the bridge above the ground, sort of thing. Yeah. So yeah, it was a bit of the unknown for them, and I think again it probably happened too quick for them. They didn't have the infrastructure in place, and I think they were paying silly wages for people training twice a week, and they had their own jobs and things like that. And I think it just all caught up with them, to be honest with
you. Yeah. So, do you want to carry on? How you got to Royston, or you want to come on?
Briefly, I'll do it quickly. Went to Stevenage. From Histon, went to Stevenage. Remember, I was about 21. I think I slept in until about 11 o'clock one morning. I woke up to about 20 phone calls from my agent on the phone, and he was furious. Like, what are you doing? Like, I'm trying to get you a move, and you're sound asleep. But went from Histon to Stevenage. I won't go into the reason it didn't work out at Stevenage. I'm sure they'll never see it, but
fair enough, though.
Yeah, we won't go into that. Didn't work out at Stevenage, and then from Stevenage went to Ebbsfleet. From Ebbsfleet on loan to Bromley. Done 3 seasons at Bromley, which I really enjoyed, but again that didn't work out. And one that speaks my mind, Neil. So if I'm not happy, I'm quite happy to upset some people. and it didn't quite work out at Bromley. We upset a few people there. And then from Bromley, where did I go from Bromley? I think to St Albans, a couple of seasons at St Albans. From St Albans, I got released when Ian Addison come in. Almost hung my boots up, if I'm honest. Fell out of love with it completely at that point. Yeah, I had a couple of tough seasons. Done one really good season at St Albans where I won Player of the Year, and then the next season I had a horror, terrible, awful, and we were struggling with a relegation battle, and we managed to get out of it. But at the time, I just completely fallen out of love with it, to be honest with you. And I went to Chelmsford. Didn't work out at Chelmsford. Me and Rod Stringer didn't see eye to eye at all. And again, when he turned around and said he was bringing someone in, I was going to pack it in. And Keezy had been on to me for a couple of years, to be honest, to try and get down to Royston. And at the time, I think it was a two league drop. And this is no disrespect at all, but I didn't want to swallow my pride and do it. I didn't want to play any lower than where I was. But in hindsight, it was the absolute best decision I made, because I was so close to packing it in. And I just started a proper job at the time as well. My first sort of proper job at 26, 27, if you believe that. And I dropped obviously to Royston and just fell in love with playing again. Absolutely enjoyed it. Obviously, we won the league that year, which helped. Great club. You know, I've worked with the gaffer before. Chairman's brilliant. The lads are brilliant. You know, we still speak to the boys. We've got a little chat going at the moment of the boys that won the league that year as well. So fell in love with playing again, and here we are, 3-4 years later.
Still loving it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just makes missing it harder.
No, it does, yeah. And look, I'm the first to moan when it's freezing cold in November, December, January, and I'm standing there not doing much. But 100%. I think this break and this forced break, especially in the position we were in. Yeah. I mean, we all truly believe we're going to win it. We actually absolutely had that faith and belief in the dressing room, and to just be pulled from underneath you. The boys are desperate to get back. Every single one of them, they're desperate, and I think it does make you realise. Like I've massively missed it. I didn't think I'd miss it as much, to be honest with you. And you miss the boys as well. You miss the group, the laugh you have, you know, the camaraderie and all that sort of stuff. Yeah,
I mean, it's got to be harder if you're at the top, pushing for promotion, pushing for a title. If you're down the bottom and you're like null and void, oh, brilliant, great,
happy days. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, we would, you know, we like I say, we truly believe we'd go on and win it. We worked out sort of where we think we'd get points from, as I think Watt said it last week. And we thought we had a slightly easier run in than Tamworth. And the form we were on was frightening. Like, other than the Tamworth loss, it was frightening. So we thought we'd just keep rolling and keep the train going, sort of thing. And we thought we'd win it. And if we didn't win it, we'd be on a hell of a form going into the playoffs. So yeah,
and no one would want to play us.
No, absolutely. No, who would want to play? What game that Peterborough game could have been at the end? That could have been unbelievable, right?
Oh yeah. And it was a perfect day for it. I remember that day. Just
the
weather.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah. No, well, hopefully. Although they've said there'll be no elite sport till the 1st of June, so I can't even see how they're going to get that done. I really don't.
I don't know. I think non-league's a long way off, isn't it? I mean, we rely on things like gates and bar receipts and things like that, and you can't have a group of people in one place. I think I'd be surprised if we played this year, to be honest with you. I hope I'm wrong, but
but the back of my mind, I'm thinking similar, maybe January, but
yeah,
you know, as you say, how can you? You know, people say, "Oh, well, you can socially distance around the pitch," but that's not the problem. It's the bar. And then you know, people were saying, "Oh, you could have maximum of 150 people in." It's like, but you're not going to make any money.
No, exactly.
You know, it's difficult, isn't it? But,
yeah. For a level that depends on who comes so much, it's just not going to work.
more than you know any of the other levels probably.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right, let's carry on with this. You've always been a goalkeeper, Joe.
Do you know what? I actually can't really remember.
Aren't goalkeepers often frustrated centre forwards?
Yeah, probably, yeah. I think for Bertrand, I started on pitch. I couldn't tell you where, I definitely was on pitch because I remember absolutely getting screamed at by the manager. Like I just started playing. I didn't really, obviously I knew how to play football and I knew the rules, but I didn't really know what I was doing. And I remember absolutely clamping someone, proper scissoring them, like a proper like awful challenge. And I remember being pulled off and saying, no, that's not what we do. And I didn't understand. So I think I was probably in somewhere like centre mid, just going around chopping everyone. Similar to what Spiros does at the moment, just go around kicking people. There's an
art to it. No, there's an art.
Yeah, he does it much better than I obviously did. And then I remember sharing the goalkeeper position with another. So there was two of us, and at that age, it was keep everyone as happy as you could, I think, wasn't it? So I played in goal, but I do remember at school, refused to play in goal. Hated it. Hated playing goal for my school. Was playing in goal for Luton at the time. Training 2-3 times a week, playing on a Saturday in goal. I was like, nah, I don't want to play in goal. So I used to play on the wing. So I was quite quick because I was big, had a long stride. But then everyone caught up with me and I slowly dropped back to a centre half where I was tall. I could just head it and still kick people. So, but yeah, I mean, my dad was a goalkeeper, so that's where I kind of got it from. So majority of the time I've played in goal, yeah. But other than that, she used to run around kicking people.
Don't they say keepers are crazy? Well, you've got to be crazy to be a goalkeeper. How's that work?
Well, I think I'd like to think I'm one of the normal ones, to be honest with you. But yeah, I think there's a certain degree of that. And then chuck yourself in front of people, put your head in where it hurts, put your hands in where it hurts. But I think I'm pretty normal. I mean, I've played with some absolute nutters.
Yeah.
And heard of absolute nutters. But
like John Burridge, you heard of him?
No, I haven't, mate. No. You think I'm older than I am, don't you?
No, he's a quality goalkeeper, but he was an absolute nut. If you ever get a chance, look out his warm-up on YouTube. He's there walking on his hands, doing like the caterpillar and all stuff like that. It's crazy.
Yes, I haven't got coordination for that.
He went round about, God, he must have had about 30 different clubs and played until he was about 45.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah,
Bastov's got a couple of years out there, didn't
he? What about your first manager? You can choose whether it be a kid manager or when you're at a club, you know.
First kid manager, I don't think you'll see it, but I don't remember his name for Birchwood. Right. First manager that had a real impression on me was the St Albans manager. Howard Miller, who was dad of Ricky Miller, centre forward at St Albans. And then the coach that we had there was Nick Saunders, who's involved in non-league quite a lot. I think he's involved with Coney Heath at the moment, but he did a lot with St Albans as well. But they're the first two that had a big impression on me. We had a really good side there. We just used to win everything. I used to keep them out. Ricky used to knock them in. And then the boys in between were pretty half decent as well. I think most of them did a bit in non-league at some point or other. And then my first manager was Ricky Duncan at Southend. He's still there now. Yeah. Before I went to Southend as a scholar, I went on an exit trial at Cambridge United. Played a game for him.
He was at Cambridge, wasn't he?
He was at Cambridge, yeah. And he came straight up to me and was like, yeah, look, we'll have you straight away sort of thing. And I remember going up there to sign or to sort out the contract and everything. And he sort of pulled me aside and said, look, whatever you do in the next 6 weeks, don't sign a scholarship. Well, that's a bit strange. Like, you've offered me a deal. You're the manager. Why are you telling me not to? And he said, well, I've got sort of rumbles that I'm off to Southend and I'd like to take you and 4 others with me. So for 6 weeks, I was dancing around this contract. People kept putting it in front of me and I was having to make up excuses left, right and centre as to why we couldn't sign it. 6 weeks later.
Cambridge United.
That was Cambridge United, yeah. 6 weeks later, off down to Southend, moved into Diggs, signed my 2-year deal there. So, but he was brilliant. He's great with that sort of age group. I'm not sure what he's doing there now. I think he's quite up on the board or something like that. I know he's taken a few of the first team games and the managers have got the tic-tac, but he was my first manager at a pro club that sort of I looked up to and respected a lot of time for.
All right, what about your first senior game then?
Cool. It would have been for Stalford. Can't remember who against, if I'm honest. I have no idea.
I'm always amazed by some people who have these like encyclopedic knowledge.
Yeah, I'm pretty good usually with it, but the Stalkford was a bit of a blur. I can't remember, mate.
Nightmare then, could it?
I must have done all right. Well, I either did all right or did horrifically and then wanted to block it out of my memory. But no, it must have been Stalkford. I've got a feeling it was Eastbourne away, which is a horror to go down there. Like in the middle of winter, freezing cold wind blowing. I can't remember, mate, but I know it was the goalkeeper at the time, Andy Young. I think he was ill, and I got the call early doors in the morning saying he'd be playing, and got sort of chucked in. But to what game I couldn't tell you, to be honest with you.
You ever scored as a keeper?
Never. Next question.
I was hoping it's going to be like a long wind-assisted kick or
no, never. I've been up a few times and not even connected. Nowhere near. I've absolutely not got a striking instinct in me at all, mate. I couldn't find the back of
Jimmy Glass.
No, never. Even when we have a bit of fun in training and do a bit of like shooting or off the trampoline, you should see my technique. It's terrible. The boys laugh at me. Awful, mate. I couldn't find the net if I tried.
All right, have you had a keeper score against you?
No.
Oh, that's good then. That's good.
No.
Because I imagine that must be terrible. Coming off at the end of the game with the other keeper having scored against you.
I'll tell you what we did do. I can't remember the team. Last year, it was near the end of the season. We obviously couldn't go up, couldn't get in the playoffs, we couldn't go down. And the team we played against, it was a home game and it was windy down the hill. Gale force winds, and I was standing in the tunnel, it's Garden Walk, and I said to the other keeper, right, we'll make a deal. You're allowed one shot from each half. So we got a free kick. We had a freebie. You could try and score once, and he didn't take his opportunity. I tried mine. I did have a shot, but fell well short. Gaffer don't know that, but made an agreement with him. Yeah, he does. yeah. But no, I've never come close, mate. Never come close, to be honest.
Oh. Do you remember your first game for Royston then?
I do, yes. This was Bedford Town at home. Literally had been, decided to mutually leave Chelmsford. I think it was on the Monday. And no, it wasn't. It was the week before because it was a bank holiday weekend. And I think I dragged it out a little bit, if I'm honest with you, so I could have a bank holiday to myself. But we signed, I signed and then came up on the Thursday, trained on the Thursday, and then Bedford at home on the Saturday, and we won 1-0. Got man of the match. I think that's the only man of the match I've won, which is absolutely scandalous now.
Really? In all that time?
I think so, yeah. Overlooked, obviously.
Either that or the defence is too good in front of you and you're not getting enough to do.
Yeah, I'll take that, to be fair. I'd rather have that all year. I think it's the quietest year I've had, if I'm honest.
Yeah,
little I've had to do, and I'd absolutely take that. The boys in front of me have been quality, different gear.
Yeah, and I've said it on many of these, or however many we've had of these, it doesn't matter who's playing in front of you. The centre-half pairing, I know the fullbacks as well, but the centre-half pairings have all been immense, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've chopped and changed as well, haven't we, a little bit. Obviously, Muzz has gone up top. There's times where we've had Ed in there. Braffs and Benny have done a job.
Yeah, Taylor's come in. Yeah.
Obviously, after his injury. Kraus has been in there, yeah. So H at the time. Harold had a bit in there. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, in truth, and I hope they see this, to be honest with you, it's been the quietest year I've had. The least I've had to do probably for a long time, and that is 100% because of the boys in front of me. And as a goalkeeper, that's an absolute dream. Yeah, you want to have nothing to do, to be honest with you, and then just do what you have to do when you're called upon.
Yeah, but remember, don't mention Muzz's passbacks.
Jesus, what's this? My 4th year now. From day one, every game get one. Bobbles run right up at me. It's the hardest thing I have to do every game.
So is that when you look, when you get in the dressing room, you look on the team sheet, where's Muzzer? 9.
Yeah, am I getting a pass back or not?
He's up front.
Yeah, no, listen, Muzzer knows where I stand with where I'd rather him play. And I'd take a dodgy pass back all day to have him at centre half.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that that splits opinion on a lot of people, but I'm centre half for him as well. Yeah, I think it looks immense there. So, but as I say, like this season, any club would have loved to have had two or even any one of them in their squad.
Yeah.
For us to have all of them is a bit amazing, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there you go. Here you go. This one came in as well. Which outfield players would you trust most and least to play in goal? Who would step in if there's no one on the bench from me? Who'd step in?
It always used to be Ingers, didn't it? I remember getting sent off at Dulwich. I don't know if you saw that. There was a big scrap on the halfway line. I went charging up, and the ref sent me off. And Ingers went in goal. From what I heard, he did all right. I think he almost got one through his legs, but I think he did all right. So I think Ingers, if he was there and thereabouts, and he's obviously been out on loan, then to get some minutes. I think he'd go and go. To trust the least, I don't know. Like usually you get that one, don't you, in training that fancies themselves. I'll give us the gloves. I'll go and goal for a little bit.
Is there anyone?
No one fancies it. No one fancies it. So they're all either useless, or I don't know. No one fancies it. But I don't know. Joshy, because of his height. I don't know. I'm clutching at straws here. Clouds.
Yeah,
don't want to get dirty. I don't know. No idea. Benny, because he can't move. I don't know. Who knows?
A long way down from where Ben is, though, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like I say, there's never that one that jumps in goal in training. So I couldn't really tell
training, they're all just more keen on sticking it past you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. As soon as the balls come out, they're smashing it. Me and Dave's trying to do it a bit in the net.
Who do you reckon? Who would you say? And then this might be a bit hard. This might be setting you up for some abuse in like a WhatsApp group or anything. But who would you say is the best finisher at the club, in your opinion? You've faced in training. It's between Brandon and Matty. I think Brandon, you put him in front of the goal and I think he finds the net. But I think Matty the same, to be honest with you. Yeah.
I think they're both massively natural finishers.
Yeah. Made a big difference this year, the pair of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Getting goals, that was.
I think that's what we lacked last year as well, wasn't
it? Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember having that conversation with the gaffer, and that was their sort of main thing to look out for in the summer. And I think that the presence of Matty and his physicality and his work rate as well. Not only does he put the ball in the net, he does all the ugly stuff as well. And I think he's brought a completely different dimension.
Everyone on the sideline sees that as well. So it's, much appreciated. Everyone's sort of like seen, players in the past who have not wanted to do that work. But.
Yeah. And it helps, definitely. It helps. You've got someone doing the ugly stuff. But I think what you usually get someone that does the ugly stuff and then someone reaps the rewards from it. But Matty seems to do both. He seems to do the ugly stuff and then still be in the right place to put the ball in the net. So.
What about hardest shot at the club?
God, this might surprise you. Oh, I don't know. It might surprise you. It might surprise you because of where he plays, but it might not surprise you because probably every other game he plays, he has a shot from about 45 yards. Probably Ed. He's got an absolute sledgehammer.
Has he?
Behind that right foot. No finesse. Just smash it as hard as you can. But yeah, there's been a couple of games he's had a shot from sort of 40, 50, 45 yards. I don't think it's been anywhere near close, but he does fancy himself.
Yeah,
he does fancy himself.
I'm not sure any have ever made the highlights reels, but
I think he's got to be up there. Who else? That's got to be Ed, I think. Ed can kick it really hard. What about
with his free kicks? Are you there? Is he pinging them in the top corner while you're there, or?
No, I put Harry in goal for them ones, mate. No, he's more finesse though, isn't he, with the free kicks? The old curly toe. That one against where was it? Nuneaton away that got us out of the trouble in the last minute. He scored a few in the time I've been there. To be fair to him.
Yeah, you mentioned Harry there. How do you two get on? You get on well, obviously.
Yeah, we do really well, really well. Yeah, really fortunate to have him there where we did get on so well. To be honest with you, I mean, he came in more as a coach initially.
Mm.
When Keezy went, we were scratching around a little bit, and we found Mason, and then Mason only did a year, and then we were scratching around again, and Harry sort of took a punt on it because I think he was quite young at the time, and he'd given up playing. He came in as a coach, and he's got a real eye for detail, listens to what I want. But this last year, I've missed a few games through work, and then obviously I missed a few games through my suspension. And I think he's done really well, to be honest with you. And
yeah.
he's almost transformed from a coach into, and I don't mean this disrespectfully to him, because I knew, whenever I wasn't playing, the year before last, he would always come in and do a good job. But this year he seems to have transformed into someone that keeps me on my toes as well at the moment, to be honest with you. He's done a good job every time he's come in. But yeah, I mean, personally, we get on really well. Really well.
Yeah. So that leads me into a question, bit of an awkward one for you. Tamworth game away, when you were like left out. How did that feel? I mean, it's probably the biggest game of the season.
Yeah.
And we're on a great run. How did it feel?
Obviously, naturally, I was gutted. I won't lie, I was fuming. And the gaffer knows me well enough. I wear my heart on my sleeve. He knows I wasn't happy. Spoke to me beforehand. Look, I can completely see the reason why he did it. I think H had played 3 or 4 games and they'd won, and he'd done all right. But yeah, I mean, my argument was it was the biggest game of the season. Hostile place to go.
Mm.
I was there. I was ready. I was fit. I wanted to play. The gaffer knows I weren't happy. He told me, but look, took it on the chin. Did what I had to do. Still looked after H in the warm up. Did my bit from the sideline, but I was livid, mate. Absolutely livid that I wasn't playing.
But then I imagine, if it had been on the other foot, you'd have been just as livid.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. No, I agree with that. Yeah. Me and the gaffer spoke. It was a Tuesday night, wasn't it? So we spoke on the Thursday. He let me know his reasons as to why he did it. I let him know my reasons why I think he shouldn't have done it. And we moved on. And I think I played on the Saturday, and I think we got a good result on the Saturday. Yeah, I was fuming, mate. Absolutely fuming. I was devastated. I wanted to play.
But really, you should be.
Yeah, I think if you're not, I think there's something wrong, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And I think it's how you handle it, isn't it? I mean, Waters touched on it last week. We've got a real good squad now where people show they're disappointed that they're out, but they take it on the chin, and then they're there to support the boys that are playing. And if they're called upon off the bench, then they do a job. Obviously, I knew I wouldn't be called upon, or very, very, slim chance I'd be called upon.
Yeah.
But
then you know that you've got a chance, and the gaffer and that are going to be honest with you and going to tell you the exact reasons and why they've done it. And they have to live or die by it themselves, don't they? Really?
Yeah. I mean, the gaffer did it because he played. I think he played 4 games. I think my suspension was 3 games. If that Stourbridge game had gone ahead on the Monday night, my suspension would have been over within a week. Because that game got called off, it dragged out to 3 weeks. And he played the Redditch game, which I was still available for. And I completely understand. And I knew, to be honest, I went into that game knowing I probably wouldn't play because it was a bit of a free hit for Harry. He hadn't played many games and they were bottom of the league. And it was a good chance to find his feet before the Chester game.
Yeah.
And then he did well against Chester. Can't remember who the game was in between. And then he did well against Colville. And there was a small part of me that was going to Tamworth thinking, I might not play here, but then there was part of me thinking my experience and everything else that I've done, I was hoping that'd be enough to put me straight back in.
Yeah.
In a game where I thought experience would have been key. But Gaffer went with his own decision, which obviously I respected. I let him know I wasn't happy, which I always do. But me and the Gaffer get on well enough that we move on past that. So
good.
It is what it is. But yeah.
So talking of that, the Gaffer has put a question in. He wanted to know your biggest 3 moments in your career, either personally or as part of a group collectively.
Biggest three. I think the first one would probably be that Boxing Day game that I previously mentioned, to be honest. I played a few senior games for Stalford, but nothing massive, you know. I was still fairly young at Histon at the time, and to go to the Abbey, 9,500, 9,000, whatever it was, in a derby like that, that was my first real experience of playing in front of a big crowd. So at Southend, I've been to big stadiums like Spurs and things like that, but never to play in front of a big crowd. And that was my first experience of playing in front of a big crowd. It was my debut for the club. The club were on the verge of getting rid of me as well. JB didn't fancy me at all, but I came in and played Boxing Day and then played a couple of days later and done well, and then earned another contract off of the back of that. So that's probably my first biggest moment. Second, I'm doing this in order, not by preference, but second would be the England C cap that I got, without a doubt.
I was going to say, I was wondering if that was going to make an appearance. That must have been amazing, wasn't it? How did you find out about that?
Yeah.
You know, the call up. And
I was lucky with that. So I was at Histon at the time, and at the time I wasn't playing. It was Nezzy was still in front of me. I remember it clear as day. We were playing Mansfield at home, and he got in a scrap, or he got in a tangle with Matt Green, their centre forward. And lashed out and punched him in the ribs. So he got sent off. So he got a red card for that. I came on and finished the game off. But off the back of that, obviously I played 3 games. Played Kidderminster, Altrincham, and one other. Can't remember who the other one was. And off the back of those 3 games, I was spotted and chosen to go to Hungary to play their under-21s in a pre-tournament warm-up. So we went out to Budapest, picked up in a limo. They treat you properly, like they treat you well, pick you up from your house, fly you out there. All you do all day is eat and train. I've never eaten so much in my life. They feed and feed and feed you, literally. But yeah, that was unbelievable. Shared a room with Dale Roberts, who obviously passed away. But yeah, brilliant. Like, experience I'll never forget, to be honest with you. I've got my shirt framed, my cap framed.
I was going to say, is that pride of place, is it?
Yeah, the shirt's up on the wall. The cap, I think the cap's being used as a bit of a bedside table in spare room at the moment. But it's all framed, it's all ready to go. But I've got everything. I've got the tie, I've got the pennant, I've got the training kit, I've got the tracks. Everything I could get my hands on, I brought home.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because it was a bit of a trial squad, if I'm honest. And I knew I wouldn't necessarily have the chance again. But obviously there's an age limit, isn't there? So I think it's under 23, and I was near enough on the brink of 22. So the chance of me being pulled up again was, wasn't massive. So anything I could get my hands on, I brought home.
Oh, cool. Oh, amazing. So go on, number 3. Sorry, I interrupted.
Oh yeah, number 3. To be honest, and again, I touched on it in that question in Twitter, it's probably winning the league with Royston.
Right.
As a player at this level, winning the league is massive. To have the consistency week in, week out, to deliver the standards, to be the best over the space of a year. That's certainly my favourite sort of trophy I've won. I've been involved in others, like as obviously at Stevenage when they got promoted from League 2 to League 1, but I didn't feel I was involved enough to warrant that trophy. Do you know what I mean? Whereas at Royston, obviously I played most of the games, near enough week in, week out. So I'd probably say that's number 3. To be honest with you, it's got to be winning something, winning the league. It's the only league I've ever won. Right. Success doesn't come around massively often. I think failure comes, well, not by failure, but I think bad moments in football come around more than success. Unless you're in a real top
even
team.
Man of the Match awards come around that often, do they?
Do you know? Yeah, exactly. That's a word with the sponsors, I think. It's not paying them off like some of the others. There's been some few dubious ones, isn't there?
Yeah. I've had a message from Gus, actually. I'll just put this up so you can see it. See that?
Yeah. Yeah, me and Gussie have a little ritual before every game. Every game.
Another superstition.
Little superstition, yeah. Yeah, even when he's not playing, I turn around looking for him and don't see him. But every game we have a little superstition, yeah, a little ritual. I don't know where it started. I can't even remember how it started, but we must have won
Got
because
to keep it going.
you keep it going. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So another couple of questions that come in. Worst thing about being a keeper?
It's got to be you make a mistake, it's a goal, right? 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, 9 times out of 10, if you make a mistake, it ends up in the back of the net.
No hiding places there.
No, and I think unless you're a bit of a character as well, I think you could be used as a bit of a scapegoat. I think if you let goals in. I'm not saying that this does not happen at Royston at all, but I've been in teams where people look at you and you look, hang on to me, that is no way my fault. Why are you looking at me?
Yeah.
Like people, they blame you when it's nothing to do with you. I think the worst thing about being a keeper's got to be the responsibility almost of you're the last line of defence, right? So I still sit there before a game and trying to get out of your head that mistake that goes through your hands or something like that. It's the worst case scenario, but that's got to be the worst thing, without a doubt. Yeah. And they're only in one position, so you either play or you don't.
Yeah. You're not fitting in. You're around pegging around. Oh, you can't go into any square holes, can you? Like a midfielder or someone can drop into the back four or anything like that. So
no, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I had really.
No, that's good.
Yeah, appreciate your time, Joe. I know you haven't had a great deal else to do tonight. You can go out or you can't go out. I'm not sure at the moment.
Yeah,
you go out.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I can meet Gussie for a round of golf. He was questioning whether we could play golf.
You can now, as of Wednesday. Yeah. So
just not allowed to drive to golf courses.
Yeah, and you can't be 2 meters within him. So if you're on the green,
I'll be down the middle. I'll be off left or right now.
If your ball's next to us on the green, you have to take it as a gimme, I reckon.
I'll take that.
Can't get
bad golf
No, I've seen some of his Instagram stories and stuff. Quite a good swing.
Yeah, he's not bad.
Anyone else play at the club? I know Josh does.
Yeah, there's a few, to be fair. We keep meaning to, we've mentioned it a few times to sort something out. Me, Josh, Gus, and the gaffer played in the Royston Golf Day last year.
Yeah.
Gaffer had to get a buggy because he couldn't walk around the golf course with his dodgy knee.
That's tough at Royston.
Yeah, I'll give him that. I don't think he could have on a flat course, though, But no, there's a few of us. Benny's supposed to be decent. I've never played with him, but Benny's supposed to be decent. I know Ingers plays. I've played with Ingers a few times. There is a few of us, to be fair.
Who's the bandit? Or is it you?
Yeah, I'll probably chuck my name in there. I'm all right. I play off probably about 13, 14.
Oh, not bad.
So not too bad. So
who's the best? Who's playing off the least? Do you know?
It's probably Gus.
Is he? Fair. What's he play off?
I don't know what he plays off, but he's half decent. I'll give him that. It's brilliant though when he's not playing well because he proper has a go at himself. He proper has a go. His head goes.
His sleeve, doesn't he?
Hey?
He wears his heart on his sleeve.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, that golf day we did, his head was rolling up and down those hills at Royston. He was all over the place. But yeah, no, I think to be fair to him and Josh play every day, don't they? I think they do half a day at work with the gaffer and then they go off to play golf. So they should be half decent. Plenty of practice.
Yeah, those were the days. Can't get a chance to play golf anymore.
Yeah, to be fair.
Yeah, no, but thanks for your time, Joey. Appreciate that, mate.
No problem.
And stay well, keep safe, and hopefully we'll all be back down Garden Walk soon enough.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully we'll see you soon.
Yeah. Cheers, mate.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.